kit. All right, today also I am sharing the new Greetings card kit of the month, which is the Country Birdhouse, and I'm calling it the plus size class, plus size projects. Your kit includes 4 cards and they are plus size, so they are bigger than the average card. There's a cute little one with the birdhouse, and we are using both the stamped images and the die cut images. And then I've got a fun fold. This is the triangular easel, pops up on your bookshelf. And then I have a slimline card also. And then our 3D project for this month is a fun sweet treat box or gift card holder. Here you go. And this will accommodate a sweet treat like some homemade cookies, a little gifty jewelry, or a gift card. So there is the box that's included in the Greetings card kit of the month. Everything is cut, prepped just for you. This month's card kit of the month will include a share of the Country Woods Designer Series paper, which is just an awesome patterned paper to create our birdhouses in the background. So you can see we've got lots of wood grain going on and all those beautiful colors. And by the way, when you join the card kit of the month, and it is a paper share, if the paper is 12 by 12, I prefer not to cut it. You will get the 12 by 12 sheet. I think sometimes you can stretch your resources that way instead of cutting it down to either the 6 by 12 or the 6 by 6. Here's the flip side. I love that multicolored panel sheet, another wood grain. I love the weathered background, more wood background. So you will get a paper share of the Country Woods paper, half a pack. It also includes a full pack of the 24-26 shimmer gems and a full bolt of the linen thread. You will need these embellishments and ribbon to complete the cards in this month's card kit of the month. So registration is open as of now. You need to register by the 20th of June for delivery on or about the 25th, pending any back orders. Now, this month's card kit is based on the Country Birdhouse die bundle, which includes the sweet little birdhouse and birdies and flowers and the beautiful dies to build your birdhouse or outline cut some of the images. This, I think it's the die set that currently is unavailable. However, it is expected to be back in stock around the 24th of the month. So you can still get your discount on it and still order it in time for your card kit of the month. All right, so there we go. Are you ready to see tonight's project? Tonight's project is a double diagonal fun fold featuring the Country Birdhouse with a patriotic theme. So here we go. Here is the card. It's a double diagonal. So there's 1 and 2. So fun. And we can achieve this in just 3 simple steps. I'm calling it 1, 2, 3, decorate. So there's our fun little card featuring the Country Woods paper, some little flowers in red, white, and blue. And let's get started creating this fun fold. So here are the materials you need. You are going to start with the full sheet of cardstock. And I have snipped my other papers. We need a 4 by 5¼ basic white. And then I picked this Designer Series paper with the blonde wood grain and flip it, and you have a nice pretty brown wood grain. And this also measures 4 by 5¼ And to decorate, I have die cut all of the images from the dies that I would like to use. So let's get started. I'm going to move my model card and my coordinating papers. Your paper trimmer is going to be your best friend on this project, and we are going to start off Let me take a break and take a sip of my Bay Breeze. By the way, did I tell you how you make this lovely little cocktail? So it is 3 ounces of cranberry juice, 3 ounces of pineapple, 2 ounces of and a lime. And it is ever so refreshing for a warm summer evening here in Southern California. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is score our cardstock, and I do have my 3 steps. I actually have them memorized. Don't really need my cheat sheet. I'm going to take my full-size cardstock sheet, and I am going to score it in half as if we were making a standard size card. So the first score is going to be at 4 1/4, so that's the midway point vertically. And remember, we are scoring, not cutting. So here we go. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4 vertically, and then I'm going to rotate and score. Ooh, I can barely see that. I'm going to go a little bit stronger on that. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees up to the midway point of the 11, which would be 5 1/2. So depending on what orientation card you typically make, so far we have just scored for a standard card size. So now I have my full sheet that has been pre-scored or scored midway. Now I'm going to do some cutting. And what I like to do, I like to flip it. We are going to cut and remove one of the panels completely, one of the rectangles. So I'm going to remove the upper left rectangle, and instead of using my paper snips, I'm going to use my paper trimmer. I'm going to push this right up to 4 1/4. We are going to cut it right on the score line. And this time I'm going to use my cutting blade. And since I'm removing that complete rectangle, I'm going to come down to the 5 1/2 inch mark on my trimmer, and hopefully you can see this. Let me push up. So here's 5 1/2. I pushed my cutting blade down, and I'm going to push up to cut. And then next, I'm going to rotate, and I am going to cut. I'm removing that upper left rectangle. Now I'm going to measure up to 5 1/2. And this time I'm going to start at the 4 1/4 inch mark. So I'm going to bring my cutting blade down to 4 1/4 and push up and remove that upper rectangle. Now I have a little issue going on right there. Ooh, I do not want that distressed look. So one, I'm going to clean my track, and the way I do that, I just put in a piece of cardstock and pull out the rubbish. And two, I will be sanding that down to take off those little frayed pieces. I'm going to continue on. Okay, we just completed step number 2. Step number 3 is to cut 2 diagonal cuts with the paper trimmer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by placing my upper left of the rectangle on the track to cut, and then I'm going to put the center right on the track right below. And I'm just going to ensure it's right on the track at both ends. And I am going to cut diagonally. So I'm going to bring in my cutting blade and remove that triangle. So these can be punches, die cuts, whatever you need later on. And again, I can see I have a little bit more to sand down. So the next thing I'm going to do, now I'm going to place the center score to the lower left and cut. So here's my center score line, horizontal and vertical. I'm going to put that on the track, and I'm going to put in the lower right corner at the lower end of the track, and I'm going to cut. There we go. And I just made a mess. What did I do? Unbelievable. Ouch. And oh my goodness, let me grab another piece of paper. Have you ever? I bet you have. No worries. Okay, let's try it again. I'm going to go back to step 1. So rewind. Let's try it again. It's either too funny or whine. Okay, so let me score and score. And then I'm going to figure out what I did in just a second. So score and score. Okay, now I'm going to flip and cut. And again, I'm trying to remove this upper rectangle here. In fact, sometimes I can help myself out. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to remove this. So this corner here, and then I'm going to be removing this corner here, or this rectangle there. All right, so little pencil marks to help. So let's start off at 4 1/4. And you know what? Let me go ahead and clean my track again. This is relatively a new blade, so I shouldn't be running into so many frayed edges. Nonetheless, we'll give it a try. All right, so we are repeating. This is a rerun in case you just joined. And I am cutting. So I need my cutting blade. I'm going to bring it down to 5 1/2. Then I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to cut down to the 4 1/4 inch mark. So this is the rectangle I'm trying to eliminate, and I'm going to bring it down to 4 1/4. There we go. So at this point, you're probably saying, right, Anna Marie, 4 simple steps. Or sorry, 3 simple steps. Yikes. Okay, now I'm going to take my upper left and the center right. And this is, again, take 2. So if you join me late, we've got 3 simple steps, which apparently you can muff. No worries. It's only paper, right? Cardstock. Okay, so now I think what happened was I put the wrong corner in there. So I'm going to go from my center score line down to my lower right. And let's cross our fingers and make sure I'm doing it right. And I'm cutting. All right, let's give it another go. All right. Yay, I think we got it. Okay, I am done with the paper. Well, actually, I'm not. I'm just going to push it aside. And the first thing I'm going to do is get my sanding block, which I have handy here. And I don't like those frayed edges, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sand these down. And again, and did I mention this card can be either portrait orientation or landscape orientation? All right. I'm going to take another sip, cool down. And now I'm going to fold and burnish. By the way, we just did our 3 steps. The next step is decorate. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off by folding and burnishing on these score lines. So I want some nice crisp folds, and I'm going to sand a bit more if I can find my sand block here. Can you hear that sanding? Sorry. All right. And when I decorate, the first step I'm going to do is add my pattern paper, my DSP. And if you remember, so that goes that way, my materials included a basic white and a piece of designer series paper. So I am going to cut my pattern paper. I'm going to go from the upper right to the lower left. And by the way, this one is going to be the portrait card. So upper right, lower left, right on the center track. and I'm gonna cut. There we go. And so my first step in decorating is going to be to add that designer series paper. And how convenient is this? This one flips over to a coordinating pattern. So pretty already, right? And I'm just gonna apply flat adhesive, and my go-to flat adhesive is Tombow liquid glue. To me, it's the easiest to work with. It's forgiving, and also it's economical. It's, if you're budget conscious for your crafting, the Tombow is the way to go. I'm going to add this, and I'm going to have a slight, like a 1/16 of an inch border on all three sides. And then I'm going to add my second diagonal cut, my triangle. So I think this Country Birdhouse is a darling set for year round. I'm decorating it with a patriotic theme. You could go for the holidays, for a fall look. I mean, it would just go year round. All right, so I've got that, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do my stamping. Let's see. This is part of the decorate. I'm gonna bring in my sentiments. And for this, it's gonna be a birthday card. I'm looking around to bring back my, I'm kind of afraid of my Misty Moonlight, but it's pretty much a new pad, which isn't sliding very well. And I don't wanna get inky fingers, especially when I'm working with basic white. All right, so here is my reference card, and I am going to stamp my inside panel, the insert, and I'm stamping with the sentiment from the stamp set, hoping you have the best day ever. It's a happy birthday card. You know me, I like to increase my odds of getting a crisp stamped image, so I like to put my piercing mat under my paper, and I am going to stamp it high in Misty Moonlight. I'll have loads of space to write a message, and it will stay out of view of the fun fold. So there's one stamped image. I'm also going to be stamping the little roof line, the scallops there. So I mentioned earlier, I pre-die cut all the pieces I need to build my birdhouse. And so here is my little scallop roof line. There is a cute little scallop stamp set. And because this is photopolymer, it's pretty easy to see through and align. And having said that, I will hold my breath because I'm on camera, right? And I'm going to rotate and stamp a second time. And boom, there it is. Then I need my sentiment, which is happy birthday. And I think it was last week when I had my first episode of scraps, what to do with your scraps. And here's a great example. Whenever I trim down my basic white for my inserts, I always have a 1/2 inch strip, because typically it's 4 inches. If I get 2 out of my 8.5 by 11, it means I have a 1/2 inch strip here. So this is a great use of the scraps. And that's the reason I save them. So it's 1 inch or even 1/2 inch is certainly worth saving. So I'm going to stamp it with my happy birthday, still in Misty Moonlight. And I'm finished with my stamping. I'm going to close that up before I get inky. And I'm going to snip right up here. There we go. And I am ready to build and assemble. Bring that in. I am going to go ahead and adhere my insert. And it's flat adhesive. You could use this, what am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? It's not snail anymore. Oh my goodness, my mind is going blank. Okay. There is my inside greeting. Hoping you have the best day ever. I'm going to close that up, close. And let's build our birdhouse. And so I'm going to start with the basics. I actually cut two. One is from the designer series paper, and then I have a basic white because I want it a little bit more stable. And when you flip it, I don't want you to see the pattern on the back of the DSP. So I am just going to back it with basic white. And because this is a large image with no details, you can run both layers through at once and save a little time. What, like 30 seconds? And I'm just going to put that right over top. There we go. I use my silicone mat in case I get gluey, sticky, messy. All right, next I am going to add my scallop roof line, and I'll tell you why. Because I want to align. You can see the way it's built. It's got that little edge to it right before scallop starts. And I want to get that into position before I add my roof line. So I'm just adding the tiniest bit of liquid glue. And I was hoping, there they are. I'm going to use my tweezers here to hold this and align it just so. On that side and on this side, there we go. And I'm gonna press down and down, and the texture coming in. So hopefully I don't get too distracted. All right, next I'm gonna add my roof line, and I actually have two layers again. I've cut from the wood grain paper, but I also cut an early espresso layer just to bump it up a tiny bit. So again, I'm going to attach these two together. It just makes it more stable, and it gives it just the tiniest bit of dimension with that thin layer of cardstock. And then this then gets put onto the rooftop. And again, just a tiny bit of adhesive. And it goes right up to the scallop, right, like so. All right. Okay, so next I'm going to add the little birdhouse, the door, and I'll tell you what, I like to punch that out with my 3/4 punch as opposed to using the die from the bundle, because the die itself is going to cut another little hole. So here we go. Here is the one I'm talking about. You're actually going to get a hole with a hole in the center, and I didn't want that. I just want to have the little hole where the birdies pop in, and I'm going to add this. And by the way, there is a stamp to outline the house. I did not do that. I'm just using the die cuts. So, oh no, Barb says she has no sound. That's not good. I'm not sure why you can't hear. Barb, are you still not able to hear? Barb, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Can you hear? Why are you not able to hear? Your volume's turned on, my volume's turned way up. And, oh no. Not sure how to fix that. All right. Well, thanks for letting me know, Barb. So I'm just posting as myself. Can you hear now? I am so sad. Not sure what's going on now. So you can see, I just asked, can you hear now? So I'm going to go forward because even with no sound, right, you can follow along with what I'm doing. Oh my, that's really distressing. No. And your volume is turned on. Huh. I have no idea why my volume is not working. Oh, I don't know how to fix that. Oh, good news. Thank you, Barb. I'm not sure what fixed it. Was it on your end or was it my end? All right, the next thing I'm going to do is put down the little base of the birdhouse. And because it's a patriotic theme, I'm using red instead of going with some of the wood grain paper. There we go. And this I am using. I'm sad that you weren't hearing me, Barbara, but I'm happy that you hear that you fixed it. Now, for this little front door, I used a punch, the 3/4 inch punch. For the little post where the bird can stand, I am using the die. I think it's about a 3/8. It's not quite a 1/4 of an inch. It's an unusual size, which is why I went with the die as opposed to just punching it. Sometimes it's easier just to punch. And I'm going to go ahead and place that right where the little post would be. And I'm pretty much just building my house. I have already stamped, colored, and die cut my little bird. And I stamped and colored using Crumb Cake and Misty Moonlight, both colors. And I'm going to use some dimensionals to pop up the birdie. And he's going to be standing right on that post, like so. And the next part is just going to be pretty much flower arranging. So I'm going to add some white leaves, some red and blue flowers. So thank you for sharing, Connie. I appreciate that. Most of these flowers are going down flat, and I'm doubling up on the little flowers. So what I did to prepare, I took each of the flower dies, and there are 4, and I cut all 4 in real red, in Misty Moonlight, and blue. Oh my gosh, is it Blue Bliss? My brain is not working tonight. Let's see. What is the light blue color? Maybe you can help me out there. And I'm going to build on that red. I'm going to add a little Misty Moonlight flower. There we go. And then I'm going to add it to my house. Whoops. And like so. It's virtually flower arranging at this point. I'm going to use my, is it Bashful Blue? So many blues over a lifetime. They're Stampin' Up. And then I am going to layer up. And I think I've already lost some of my little flowers. I'm losing the flowers already. Let's, well, we'll just put it on red. These are sweet little flowers. You can double up or you can add them just in one layer. And I'm I'm also going to put, oops, a little leaf on that. There. And there. And I'm going to build on the other side as well. So what I did with the leaves as well, there are 3 dies for the leaves. I ran all 3 through basic white about 4 times, so I would have plenty to work with. And that was easy prepping. And let's see, let's put a little red flower here. And this part, the decorating, whoops, is at your discretion. It's like flower arranging. You put where they happen to look right. And let's put another little white leaf down here. And a little red flower up here. Barb said she loves this. I do too. It's perfect for springtime, for summer. As I was saying, it's like a year-round stamp set because you can decorate like you would your front door with all the different seasons. And of course, 4th of July coming up. I thought patriotic theme would be good. We just had Memorial Day as well. So, and you can see I am building my cards with flat adhesive just so it doesn't get too bulky. And then I'm going to put a couple of leaves coming down. And I still have more leaves. Why not use them, right? Right there. And right there. And here's where my happy birthday goes, right up there. So I am going to add that with dimensionals. And by the way, there is a reason that I'm building the birdhouse before I add it to the card front, because I don't want to have any extra adhesive. So it's a little bit easier to control when I don't have it on the card front yet. The happy birthday will go right here. I'm off screen. Thank you. There we go. So still, oops, sorry about that. I got some kind of gummy. There we go. This is going to go right around there. A little bit crooked. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the flower arranging. I think I've got most everything on there. I am now ready to transfer it to my card base, the double diagonal fold. And the key here is that I do not want to have any adhesive. If I put it here, I don't want to have any adhesive where there won't be contact with the card. In other words, this area right here. So what I could do, I'm just going to draw a little line there. And I'm going to add, and for this I'm using, do you use the foam adhesive sheets? I have been switching these out for some of the areas that require a little bit more tackiness to attach. And I love, all I did was cut it about 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 inch. And I'm going to put that there. And it's going to go on the diagonal, like so. Now I do not want to put any back here on the base of the house because the card will not be able to open that way. I can, however, put a wee bit over at the top here. So I'm going to trim this down and bring it up for you. Thank you for reminding me I was going off screen, right like so. Here we go. There. And I'm going to flip, and I just want to make sure I'm high enough here. And before I press down, I'm going to flip that over, make sure I'm in the clear, and I am. Now I can press, and I'm pretty happy with the card. What do you think? I'm not finished yet though. I have one more thing. I'm going to add my embellishments, and this week again I am using my enamel effects, and this is the gold. I thought a little bit of yellow, pop of yellow would be nice. This is the last thing I'm going to add, and I'm going to be very careful that I don't stack anything over top because the enamel effects takes a little bit of time to dry. You can try heat setting it to speed up the process. But here we go. So there is my happy birthday country birdhouse. Oh, thank you, Barbara. She said she loves it. So here is the portrait style double diagonal fun fold. 1, 2, 3, decorate. 3 simple steps. And you can see, I'm not quite sure which one I prefer. One has the wood grain going horizontally, one has it going vertically. I like them both. I like the contrast with the brown and the lighter. Portrait style, right? This fold will work portrait or landscape style. So here's my portrait, and I don't want to stack those. Trying to be really careful. Horizontal or landscape. Here we go, same stamp set, different paper. This is that adorable paper called Flowers and Frames. It is unavailable at the moment, but it will be back. The colors are just gorgeous for springtime. The Lost Lagoon, spruce, the pretty peacock, all of them look so pretty. And I've used the same bundle. This time I created a bird bath, and I also used another technique. I used the mirror technique to get the birdie to face left, because when you stamp down, he's facing right. So I did the mirror technique to create the friends at the bird bath. I used Lost Lagoon, and the bird bath itself is Pebbled Path. And let's see, what else can I tell you about this one? Oh, it has the adorable embellishments, the dragons and birds. Let's see, let me get that right. It is called Dragonflies and Birds, and these embellishments have been out of stock off and on since they were introduced. Right now they are in stock, and they're one of my favorites, that brass finish. Super cute. There's the bird bath in landscape orientation. So we've got both orientations. And then the one last thing I want to share with you, I'm going to share with you the inspiration card. Was a birthday card I received from Emma Goddard. Let's see, she is the Coastal Crafter. Super pretty, portrait orientation. There you go. How sweet, right? And this is the, let's see, the metric card size, because you can see there's a difference in the card size. Yeah, in Britain it's taller, narrower. And yeah, there you go, my inspiration card. And today's double diagonal fun fold in 3 easy steps, portrait version and landscape version. Super cute. All right, so there you go. If you are on my email list, you will be getting the PDF instructional sheet delivered to your mailbox tomorrow. If you are interested in shopping to receive the free tune-in class kit of the month, place a $40 online order using the host code, and I will send you the class kit at the end of the month. And then if you are interested in the greetings card kit of the month with the plus size cards, you will want to register by June 20th for delivery on or about the 25th. The card class is $39 delivered and includes your paper share, your gems, and your ribbon. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining me and bearing with me tonight. I appreciate you. See you next time.